How long does bankruptcy last, Canada? The length of time you will be an undischarged bankrupt will rely on mainly three factors. Is this your first time bankruptcy, or is it your second or more time in bankruptcy? Do you have a surplus income amount? Have you given one or more of your creditors, or your trustee, reason to oppose your discharge from bankruptcy? If this is your first bankruptcy with no surplus income and nobody opposes your bankruptcy discharge application, your bankruptcy will last for 9 months. If this is your first bankruptcy and you do have surplus income and no one opposes your discharge, your bankruptcy will last 21 months. If this is your second time in bankruptcy and you do not have any surplus income, is not eligible for a bankruptcy discharge for 24 months. However, you should consider if there is something in your pre-bankruptcy affairs that will give rise to someone opposing your discharge. For example, if the reason for your second bankruptcy is the same as your first time, your trustee will be bound to oppose your discharge. If you are a second-time bankrupt and you do have surplus income, then you will not be eligible for a discharge from your bankruptcy for at least 36 months. Again, consider your pre-bankruptcy conduct to estimate the likelihood of opposition. In the case of an opposition, either by one or more of your creditors or by your trustee, then it becomes a court process. A discharge hearing will be scheduled in court. The timing is then driven by the court process. If your bankruptcy discharge is being opposed, you would be wise to consult with a bankruptcy lawyer. Does bankruptcy ruin your credit forever? A person that declares bankruptcy is given the lowest possible credit score. For a first-time bankrupt, the information that negatively impacts your credit rating is inevitably gotten rid of approximately 6 years after your discharge from bankruptcy. One of the purposes of the Canadian bankruptcy system is financial rehabilitation. Once you are discharged from bankruptcy, you can begin to repair and rebuild your credit. 2 easy ways are: get a secured credit card. This is one where you put funds on deposit to equal your credit limit. The secured credit card issuer reports your activity to the 2 Canadian credit agencies monthly. By paying the balance off every month, you start to rebuild and repair your credit. Take out an RRSP loan and invest the money in your RRSP. Pay the loan off over the next 12 months and then rinse and repeat. By borrowing money in a manner the bank will lend to you through the RRSP loan and paying the loan off in a year, you are rebuilding and repairing your credit. By the way, you also enjoy the tax benefit of the RRSP deduction and you are starting to build your retirement savings. Do you have to declare your bankruptcy after 7 years? This question was recently asked of me. At first, I didn't quite understand what the person meant. After some further discussion, it became clear that what the person was really asking was 2 questions as follows. Will my bankruptcy filing show up on my credit report after 7 years? After 7 years, do I have to report the fact that I was bankrupt? The first question is answered both above and below. As far as reporting the fact that you filed for bankruptcy, there are several issues. First, you don't need to tell anyone unless you are specifically asked. Second, you will only be asked on an application for a loan or credit card, a job where handling cash and/or bonding is required, on an insurance application or in connection with a professional license that you hold. Sometimes the question may be limited, such as, in the last 5 years. You have to read the question carefully and answer truthfully. Does a bankruptcy automatically come off? When you file bankruptcy, your trustee will certainly inform your creditors, the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, credit rating coverage firms and the OSB. The OSB maintains a database of insolvency filings that anyone can search. So the fact you filed for bankruptcy is public. That information exists forever. Your filing will also show up in your credit report. For personal bankruptcy, as indicated above, it will remain on your credit report for about 6 years after you get your bankruptcy discharge. Additionally, specific insolvencies, both for personal and corporate bankruptcy, call for a legal notice to be placed in a local newspaper.